Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Get Your Popcorn. I've got a very special guest on today. Dan, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, happy to be here. My name is Dan. I'm on TikTok and Instagram as Real Takes, and happy to talk about some movies today.
So your Instagram, TikTok, do you have a YouTube or anything else you'd like to plug while you're
Uh,
on the topic?
we have our podcast, Goodwill Podcasting. So we're on like YouTube, Spotify, Apple, everywhere else. I do have my own YouTube page. I don't ever really do anything with it. I really should, but it's kind of a different beast. So I need to kind of get into that.
Yeah, I don't do much with YouTube other than post like the video of the podcast. I don't. That's where all the mean comments are. So I just post and ghost over there.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
The amount of times I've been called a libtard on YouTube is crazy. Like, okay.
Yeah, I mean anything YouTube, Instagram, Facebook is different, even worse, but it's all crazy.
Okay, so can you tell me about your background with film? Like what got you interested in it in the first place?
Yeah, absolutely. Really, I think it was kind of my family. I think growing up, both my parents love movies, and I think kind of got me into them pretty early. We had a big VHS collection and a lot of DVDs when they came around, and we would always go to like pretty much every Friday we would go like rent something and watch it together. So like I always loved like going to Blockbuster and Hollywood Video and all that and picking stuff out. And yeah, I think I definitely had an interest from a young age, and then as I got older, started watching more stuff on my own. And I feel like even now we all have a lot of blind spots and stuff we need to watch, but I'm trying to like kind of fill a lot of those. I feel like this year I've seen like a decent amount of new releases, but I've been trying to watch a lot of like older stuff that I haven't seen yet. So that's always fun, but kind of overwhelming to like feel like there's so much to watch and only so much time.
Yeah, going in the back catalog is like, yeah, it's bottomless, especially if you're going into like, pre-50s film where they're like with those like gun for hire directors, they're just pumping out so many movies and so many of them are so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and I think it's always fun, like, discovering something new that you love or a new director that you want to get into, but it's just endless.
What have been a couple of your favorites from like now that you're going back, like some older, more classic films?
I've been watching a lot of stuff this year. So like I just watched Lara for the first time, which I really loved. I thought that was incredible. I don't know. I mean, I feel like when we're talking classics, I feel like stuff that's like older than me, I guess. Like I guess once you get past like 30 years, but I just watched The Verdict this year for the first time, which I thought was wonderful. Really, really like Paul Newman. I'm a big fan of his. And I also watched Wild at Heart for the first time this year, David Lynch, and loved that as well. I'm a really big fan of Nick Cage. So I'm trying to watch all of his movies, but it's kind of a never-ending journey. But I hit 50, so I'm like halfway through or so.
Yeah, Nick Cage doesn't seem to turn down a ton of projects. He's kind of always working.
Yeah, and then there's a period there where he was pretty much broke, so he just literally took everything. I think he made some really bad financial decisions. He's also been divorced like 6 times, so that does not help. But interesting guy. I got to see him at I literally sat like 6 feet away from him at South by Southwest to watch The Surfer, which was crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but that was.
Yeah, I understand. Like I'm a big Al Pacino fan, so I've got like a chunk of movies where I'm like, this is bad, but I've committed to him being my favorite actor, so I'll be watching this.
When did you make that commitment?
Al Pacino. Well, I like was sort of grew like my dad's he's a teacher, but he's a filmmaking teacher. He's got a master's degree in theater, and so we watched classics. So I think he just downloaded that onto me a little bit. And then when I got a bit older and I started kind of understanding a bit more and seeing particularly his portrayal of Michael, and then in Dog Day Afternoon, I was like, this is the same guy. Like this is incredible. And then his smaller stuff like Panic in Needle Park, and then I was a big fan of the Inside the Actor Studio and his interview, listening to him talk about it and like how he broke characters down and stuff. I was just like, this guy is just, I don't know, like he's so different than like listening to somebody like, and I do like a lot of Brad Pitt stuff. I'm like, but these are different. This is a different way of doing something. This is he's a theater actor who accidentally became a movie star. So listening to him break it down is very similar than if you watch like Jane Fonda or Susan Sarandon talk about acting. Like it's a very different way of breaking it down than a lot of these other actors.
Yeah, I think it's funny you say that because I think I was just watching Denzel Washington talk about that exact thing and saying how he is a theater actor, right? That he is in movies, but I think that's kind of how he views himself. And I think, I mean, when you go back through history, I think people that come from the stage are just tend to be better. Like it just is what it is. They're kind of a different breed. But you mentioned someone like Brad Pitt. I made a video like last month or something talking about Brad Pitt and how I felt about him as an actor, and like got a lot of pushback. I don't think you can mention a Brad Pitt with like all time greats. Like you can't. Like I think he's chosen really good roles and he's chosen really good movies. He's been a part of a lot of really good stuff, but he rarely is the best thing about a movie. I think he's just, you know, he was a really good looking guy and like he was charismatic in a way and he knew how to carry himself, but he's not a great actor. And I think it's okay to say that. Like he'll never be mentioned with the best.
No, and he's picked roles that don't he doesn't have to he kind of can just show up as himself to some version of like Cliff Booth and Lieutenant Aldo Rain. Like these are, like it's not it's not a terribly difficult part. Or even going back, I mean, he's not necessarily picking when he's in Thelma and Louise, but I think other than Meet Joe Black, there isn't a ton that he's really pushing himself to
Joe
do.
Black is sick. I love that movie. And like
Yeah.
that's it's like different and weird and like I think was more challenging for him. And
Yeah.
like there's a couple different he's doing a lot there, and it's a really strange performance. I think that movie is like perfect. A lot of people don't like it. I think it's great. I've always loved it.
I like it too. But that's sort of the only thing like outside of his comfort zone where you really see like he isn't somebody like Leonardo DiCaprio who is doing such a like where each movie is quite different.
Yeah, and people like in that
Like
in that
ish.
comment section, there were people asking me like, there were people implying that Leonardo DiCaprio is kind of in the same boat, and I was like, no, like what are you talking about?
No.
And like I'm not even like I don't really like him that much. Like I'm not his biggest fan. I think he's a weird guy, but um, you know, he's undeniably just a better actor, and it's not remotely close.
But like if you look at like What's Eating Gilbert Grape and then The Basketball Diaries and then Flowers of the Killer Moon and then like The Departed, like these
Shutter
are
Island, yeah,
Shutter Island, like they're all Inception.
Catch Me If
They're
You Can,
all yeah,
Quick
everything
and the
is so
Dead, yeah, that's a lot of different stuff.
and a lot of different directors. Like it kind of feels like Brad Pitt sort of like tucked himself under Quentin Tarantino's wing and like these will be my big roles.
Yeah, especially recently, and I think, I mean, I also think after you know it came out that he was like an abuser, I think Quentin Tarantino was one of the only people that was like, I don't care. Here's
Yeah,
a
it's
role. Here's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like it'll be fine. So, I mean, his career is still going, but I think there was a period there where maybe he was a little bit radioactive, but Quentin Tarantino just doesn't care. So
well, Quentin Tarantino had no problem working with Harvey Weinstein after like Uma Thurman
yeah, and he
divulged.
defended Roman Polanski and just
Yeah,
yeah,
I know. I'm really sad he made like 3 of my favorite movies because he's such a piece of shit.
yeah, and it's just he doesn't have to be. It's just like it's so confusing to me. And like he was someone that he was a guy that was like running a video store. Like he was a down to earth person who just loved movies. Like I feel like I don't know if he just got so much fame and money so quickly that he just kind of came out of that life and mindset and just I don't know what happened, but he's not someone that came from a lot. So it's strange to see the way he views the world and talks about things and just it's definitely unfortunate. And, I love Jackie Brown. I love Django and Inglorious Bastards. It sucks.
Yeah. Oh no, I think that's one of the almost the negative things about one of the many negative things about social media and all the constant press and stuff. It's like not everybody needs to be talking all all the time.
Yeah, and he's done a lot of just talking recently, and I feel like he's always like putting people down, putting movies down, and like, I saw there was a thing recently where he was talking about saying he's never gonna watch Dune, and Denis Villeneuve, like they asked Denis about it, and he was like, "Okay, I don't give a fuck." I
Yeah.
mean, what? But like, why be like that? And he said like movies died in 2019. Did they? Like, did you just stop watching them, or like what? It's frustrating.
I hate that take that people have. And like, yeah, there's like some definite dips to quality and like the constant incessant like need to produce stuff on existing IP is annoying. But there are good movies. You just have to seek them out and then pay to go and see them so they make more. I mean, Honora is a great example of an independent film that was incredible that came out this year that I never thought that Silver Linings Playbook would get knocked off my favorite film of all time, and I've had 3 knock it off in the last year. So I think movies are, at least for me in the last year, have really taken a turn to the positive.
Yeah, I think this year there's been a lot of success of like we were just talking about this last night on the podcast. We were talking about how there's been a lot of original stuff succeeding. and Warner Brothers themselves have had a string of successes. I mean, even with stuff like Weapons and Sinners, like I mean, they're both really successful movies financially, and people are enjoying them. And there's been a lot of stuff this year that's been original. I think you're also seeing, interestingly enough, like some of the big IP stuff struggle a bit and not succeed as much. Obviously, not across the board, but I think there's been a definite like movement of kind of independent stuff succeeding this year. Not independent, but like original. So that's good to see.
Yeah, I'm as like a longtime Disney fan, I'm like absolutely praying for them to do anything original at all because I can't do a live action remake, and there's yeah, I haven't seen the last few. I hate that they changed the ending to Lilo and Stitch, so I am boycotting it completely.
Did you watch Elio?
No, I didn't. It can be really hard for me to get out to the theater because I've got my daughter. So
Yeah.
I have to really, really pick. I kind of set up a big schedule like a couple months in advance. And then I compete nationally in fitness competitions. And I
Oh,
had
nice.
three. So it was a big month for me. It is on my list of things to see. I thought it was quite good. I'm always a little bit nervous. Same with Pixar, that I just feel like the quality is just in the last little while. And by last little while, I mean like a while Disney's I don't know. They've lost my footing a little bit. I just want a regular villain. This is what's missing from these films.
I think I mean, something I talk about a good bit is like, I think there's a villain problem in movies in general. I think like, and even, I mean, even, you know, it's kind of a simple way to look at it, but even looking at like superhero movies, I think you oftentimes nowadays just see nothing villains that you don't remember. And I think a lot of the best superhero movies, like one of the things you remember is the villain. Like there needs to be someone that catches, like sticks in your mind. And like looking at something like even like Deadpool and Wolverine, like it's just nothing. I want to destroy everything because I want to destroy. Like it's just, that's not interesting, and it's never going to happen. Like when the stakes are everything will disappear. When is that ever going to happen? Like
Mm-mm.
there's no tension. There's nothing is personal about the like conflict. It's just like bland.
Yes.
And I feel like there's kind of a villain problem. I think there was a long period of time where like the focus was trying to make these villains you could identify with, like villains where you could see their point of view. I think that was kind of the trend for a while, and I feel like now people want something else. So I
I
think
think
there's
the
yeah.
Sopranos did that to everything. They're like, we love Tony. Let's make everybody Tony.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, those movies steered a lot of the direction of the industry in a lot of ways. And I think it's an interesting time right now where, again, we're seeing that stuff not really succeed. And we're seeing other stuff do well. So
Is there a movie in particular that kind of changed your like concept of a film? Like, was there a moment in your time you're going on, you're watching movies, and then all of a sudden you watch one, you're like, well, like movies can be like this too, and then kind of sparked you like pursuing more of like a deeper level in connection with film.
it's hard to say because I do think like, I feel like I've been watching stuff for a long time. And I feel like I started watching, my parents showed me a lot of stuff when I was relatively young. Like I watched like Die Hard and stuff when I was really young, probably too young, but like, you know, they kind of were pretty lenient with what we could watch. But I think a couple of movies I really love: The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, the Edward Zwick movie, Ken Watanabe. I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I really like history too. That's like history is kind of the thing I've always gravitated towards education wise. And I like stories that I like movies that tell sort of or go into sort of underdeveloped or under talked about periods of history. And I think that time in regards to what happened with Japan, like westernizing is really interesting and like kind of moving from this old school way of living and being and thinking about the world and like opening themselves up to the West. And like all that's very interesting to me. And I think and it's also sort of based on a true story. So I love that movie. I love the way it's um, shot. I love the music. Like I love everything about it. Also Master and Commander from like 2003 with Russell Crowe and Paul Bettany. I love that movie a lot. I think it's like one of the better movies ever made. That's another thing I really loved growing up. I think those two were both special to me in terms of like appreciating something that was kind of the full package of acting, cinematography, music, everything together. So
I've seen The Last Samurai, but I haven't seen the other one. I'll have to add it to my I have to add it to my list.
yeah, it's really
I
good.
I was largely shown like by classic cinema, I mean like 70s, but like every like silent movies to 70s wasn't like what I was shown as a kid a lot. So there's this like chunk of film between like 1980 and 2005 that I have like not seen a ton of. So I've been trying those are all on my list to kind of go back because my dad kind of lives and dies in the fact that movies have not been that great since like 1988. Okay.
Do you try to change his mind?
I do. We like to fight about it, which is fun. I love arguing with him about film because we feel very differently about a lot of stuff. He's a big violence shouldn't be on the screen kind of guy. And so I like to push his boundaries a little bit with stuff. Like, no, you got to go see stuff like Sinners. I'm like, trust me,
More
it's way
than
better.
violence. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, or like, so we like to debate a little bit about that or certain things, but I know he likes the film a lot of the time that I'm like, you got to watch this. And he'll be like, it was okay. I'm like, that means you liked it. You liked it. You just don't admit you liked it.
Does he have like a favorite movie of all time, or
He has a few. Casablanca is right up there. What's the number of that? It's a Wonderful Life, which is on my top 10 of all time. It's
same? Yeah.
that movie makes me every time I see it, I'm like, God, this movie is like better than I remember, and I watch it every Christmas. The movie makes me bawl my eyes out. He's a big Hitchcock fan, so he's like a big fan of like suspense without the violent payoff. We watched, as problematic as it is, Gone with the Wind a lot as a very young child. Like the technical work in the film, he's like, no, like look, they're hand painted 4 hours worth of film. Like you gotta understand what a like technological advancement this is. I'm trying to think of all his others. Although he likes Crash, which really makes me not think that he has very good taste. So like, how do you like this movie? It's so bad. And so I always make fun of him that it's like, oh, what's that Christmas movie with the same concept? It's so bad. It's got Emma Thompson in it. I can't remember it. It's all the different storylines that intersect.
Last Christmas.
No, Thompson. I think it's got Alan Rickman in it.
Love Actually.
Love Actually. Yeah.
Only I've
Because
watched that in a really, really long time.
it's not good. It's about as good as Crash.
Cast
And
is crazy.
I always, make fun of him that's up there on his list, and that he will defend the fact that beat Brokeback Mountain. That is astronomically stupid. So wrong. But yeah, those are a few, and then The Godfather as well. Actually, when my mom and I went and watched Barbie, and there's the one like Ken Barbie that's into movies, and he's trying to get them to watch The Godfather. She laughed like she could not stop laughing. She was like crying, and all I could hear was her like wheeze out, "That's your dad."
Nice.
I was like, oh my God, that is dad. But yeah, so we watched a lot as kids, but mostly really like older cinema, like even stuff like Charlie Chaplin was watched, The Three Stooges.
Three Stooges. Yeah. I grew up watching the Three Stooges.
I don't know about you, but now like slapsticky jokes and stuff are sometimes like a blind spot that I'll find funny. I'm like, I really shouldn't have been laughing that hard that guy ran into a door. This is not clever material.
Yeah, I hear that.
Do you have any directors currently that are like on your radar, like when you see that there's something new coming that you're like, you want to go and see it, kind of regardless of what the concept is?
I think one is definitely PTA. When you have a new movie this year, which I'm excited for. Like pretty much everything he's made except for Licorice Pizza. I can't stand that movie. But yeah, I think he's just one of the best of the century, and I'm always excited to see what he can make. I think like Phantom Thread's one of my favorite movies of all time. There Will Be Blood is one of my favorite movies of all time. I like pretty much everything he's made. But he hasn't made a movie I like since 2017, which is kind of crazy. So I'm excited to see if this is good this year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to his new film. I haven't seen, not all of his stuff is kind of my style, but I've seen sort of like the bigger projects of his. What did you think of Sinners?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw it a couple times in theaters. I thought it was really, really good. And I feel like, it's one of those movies that I think was, like we talked about earlier, kind of the complete package. From the way it was shot to the performances, I feel like the movie has like 9 or 10 characters that it really focuses on. And I feel like you kind of get to know all of them, at least enough to like really care and understand like who they are and what they're about. I love the way it kind of showed the entire community kind of getting behind the opportunity and the business, and like the way everyone kind of mobilized to like support it and come together and then like enjoy it and celebrate, and then kind of the conflict that came in response to that. I thought that was really powerful. I think Michael B. Jordan I definitely think he's a really good actor. I don't think he always is well cast. I don't think he's always necessarily in the right movie, but I think he's really talented. And I think what he was able to do with those roles and like making them feel unique and not making you feel like you're just looking at two Michael B. Jordans, I think that's really hard to do. I just watched Dead Ringers for the first time, the Cronenberg movie, where Jeremy Irons is doing the same thing, and I felt the same way. Like it's a huge task, like to make them feel independent and like who you're looking at just by how they carry themselves and speak and stuff. I think that's really hard, and yeah, I thought it was great. I loved the music. I thought it was a beautiful movie, and I'm excited to see what he does next. Kugler.
He's awesome. He has an amazing ability for me to have a movie that I think I'm not going to give a shit about, and I'll sit down and be like, okay, well, that might have been one of the greatest of all time. Like, I don't care about boxing movies, and I love Creed. I don't really care for superhero movies, particularly canon of MCU films. And I was like, I don't want to go see Black Panther. I got dragged to see Black Panther, and I ended up like loving it. There's something about him where you're like, this is just, you've made this as deep as it should be.
Have you seen Fruitvale Station?
I haven't.
You should watch that. It's really good.
I'll put it on my list. I definitely want to see more of his stuff. I'm excited for what he's coming out. And I'm trying to get on some like new directors because all of the ones that I love are going to die. Limited Spielberg movies are coming out. So I need to find some new guys that
Yeah, I love Spielberg too. I feel like he sometimes gets like sort of disrespected or not forgotten, but I think disrespected in like conversations about like the best directors of all time. I feel like I don't know if people think it's too cliche. Like look at his filmography. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's so good. And I feel like he gets a little bit disrespected. And he has like missed a few times, but everybody has.
Well, the Steven Spielberg miss, other than Hook, the rest of them are still like 8 out of 10. Like,
I love Hook.
You love Hook. Never mind.
I love it. Yeah.
No, I'm doing a summer of Spielberg on my podcast. So I've only been reviewing Spielberg movies this summer, and I've got enough. I mean, there's enough of them I can do it for the next couple of years. But I think he's underrated because he picks films that are like similar to like what we're talking about with Kugler, where it's like people think like, oh, it's just a dinosaur movie. It's just a shark movie. It's just a movie about an alien. It's, all these sort of like more genre specific films where you're like, no, actually like E.T. might be the deepest film I've ever seen about childhood divorce, like, or feeling lonely. Jaws is such a great exploration of like classism within a small town, or the like Jaws after the COVID pandemic is so much more topical than it was at the time of its release. Like his films are similar with like these concepts that sound like maybe you wouldn't be interested if you like just a straightforward drama, but end up being just phenomenal.
Yeah, the director will never have a more influential year than he had with Jurassic Park and Schindler's List in the same. Will never again will anything like that happen. Like it's the best year any director's ever had, and that'll never change. I don't think so.
It was crazy when I was looking into it. He was editing via like teleconference in Poland for Jurassic Park while filming Schindler's List. And he said it was so hard to care about the edit because he'd shoot that train sequence where the very Fiennes character ends up just like shooting that woman in the back of her head or ordering it to be done. And then he'd have to go and edit like, well, do you like the way that this
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I
don't know how he did it, but it's really impressive.
Yeah. For me, his only kind of misses are ones where I'm like, I just feel like you were the wrong director for this film in the first place. Something like, although I love The Color Purple, it's a white Jewish guy that felt uncomfortable with queerness. It seems like an odd choice for that film. But I mean, he still did a good job.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Minority Report is another one of my favorite movies of all time. He's made a lot of good stuff.
We'd chatted about it a bit on, I think, TikTok comments, but yeah, The Fabelmans, which I just watched recently, I was like blown away from, for a man to be hitting like that hard of a stride at like, I think we was like 78 maybe when the film came out or something. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Similar to how, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say we've seen a lot of like older directors struggle a bit recently, so I think I still need to watch it, but I've heard amazing things.
Oh yeah, it was incredible, especially if you like, I don't know, like whether or not like you were like a lonely or like kind of a weird creative kid. I was like weird and lonely as a kid, and like there's been a lot of parallels with Steven Spielberg's like divorce threads through his films that have like hit hard through me all through my childhood, starting with E.T. So then to watch that like play out on screen in a like tangible real family was like alongside this like side plot of him just being like this lonely kid that uses film in order to like kind of fill the hole where friendship probably should be. I was just like the whole time I was just tears. And my husband was like, why are you crying? I'm like, you don't You had sports and Friends. You know, this movie isn't for you. It was great though. I recommend that one.
And that's the beauty of it. I mean, everything connects with different people differently, and you know,
Are there? You mentioned Nicolas Cage. Is there any like who are your guys, your actors or actresses that you're going to see kind of regardless, or do like back catalog searches for them?
I feel like there's not too many actors that I really gravitate towards. I mean, I mentioned Paul Newman. I've seen like eight or nine of his movies. I want to keep going. I'm a big fan of his. I'm a big fan of Kate Blanchett. I think she's really, really good, even though she named her son after Roman Polanski, which just is the craziest thing I've ever heard anyone say in my life.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. That's horrifying. I
It's
guess
one
she
of
worked.
those.
Oh, she worked with the
She's
Woody Allen too.
yeah. It's just like, and she said it on like a late night. Like she just said it like to a TV. Like I'm like, again, it's this like detached. Like they're not understanding how stuff comes across, or like that's I just that's a separate conversation. But I think she's really, really talented. I mentioned Nick Cage, um, Denzel, Ella Davis. I love both of them. Denzel also, when we talked about Leo, I think Denzel somehow gets disrespected in a way. People like when I talk about Denzel, I'll get a lot of comments about, oh, Denzel just plays Denzel. You haven't watched his movies. Like
Yeah.
you don't know what you're talking about. And like it's really frustrating when people just like say shit like that and are so dismissive of him because he's one of the best of all time.
Mhm.
And it frustrates me. And I think like when you really look at he's played so many distinct characters, and he's very special. I think. I also think like Anthony Hopkins might be one of the best actors of all time. I think there's an argument there that he is the best. I feel like he gets forgotten in that conversation. Another person I've been trying to watch more of recently, and I was thinking about making a video because he would never be brought up in that conversation, but John Turturro. When you look at his filmography, it's so good. I mean, he's done a lot of stuff with like the Coen brothers, and I feel like a lot of people now know him in like little roles, like they'll know him from like Severance, or they'll know him from like he was in the Transformers movies. It's like a quirky side character, but like he's such a good actor, and he's been in just incredible stuff. So, but I don't know. I think like I said, in general, I don't gravitate towards that many actors. I think part of it too is like I don't like getting that attached to anyone because then you find out something about that, like Kate Blanchett. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
fuck, like,
Like I
um,
like you, damn it.
yeah. And I also think like it's nice to see like new people get opportunities, and it's nice to see people like pop up that don't get enough work and get see fresh faces. I was just talking about with Weapons. You haven't seen Weapons yet, right?
No, I know. I haven't. Went to this month's watch was Freakier Friday 2 for Brian from Midnight Film Reviews. We're doing actually recording later today his
Nice.
podcast.
But even in that movie, like Benedict Wong is in that movie, who I think is an amazing actor, and Alden Ehrenreich is in it too, and he's really good. He's someone that I don't feel like gets used enough, and I like him a lot. But a couple other people I really like. I like Taylor Russell. I think she's really talented. I love Robert Pattinson. I'll watch anything he makes. Willem Dafoe. Yeah, lots of people I like.
I love, yeah, Willem Dafoe, I think is probably like one of the greatest character actors of all time. I love his work with Robert Eggers in the last few years he was phenomenal in Nosferatu and kept the film from falling into just like a bottomless pit of despair. For the film to have been so dark for so long and then to have Willem Dafoe and
Kind of in his own movie.
like I laughed out loud at like a couple of the things that he did. Even the last one, you're like, you're crazy. I thought he was tremendous. And he's so good. And he's so good in like these like I mean, he's like one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. Like his range and stuff is like incredible.
Yeah, I mean he's one of the best of all time, and I think seems like also a very pleasant, nice guy from what I can tell. I don't know. I'm dug into him, but that's how he seems.
Yeah, I try not to speak that stuff out in the universe. I'm like, I don't. You're awful.
Yeah. He's
Like I
70 years old already.
That seems crazy. There's a couple of them that you're like, what? But I mean, I guess like they're in like Platoon and stuff and they weren't like teenagers. Like, unfortunately, that's almost 40 years ago, which feels like I must be getting older.
Yeah, no. I mean, Morgan Freeman is 88.
I know. We're gonna have a devastating couple of years. When Jane Fonda goes, Al Pacino goes, like I think I might cry like I know them.
Yeah,
That'll be tough ones. Cause that's primarily like I think like I've talked to a number of people now, depending on where in the filmmaking process you come from. I find people gravitating more towards certain things. Like I primarily come from like a theater education, so it's the actors that I'm really watching, and then some people it's like the screenwriters and the directors and different things. But some of our grades in all those categories are now quite quite elderly, and it's a bit and I feel like we haven't quite had the next wave of A-list come up yet. Like I think the only one that I don't know how old you are, but like I'm 29 and like the only A-list actor I think in and around my age is like Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, and Tom Holland. And other than that, like that
Not Pattinson.
I guess so. I guess so. But I wouldn't consider him to be like an A-list actor because he doesn't want to be in the A.
You mean like persona wise, sort of?
Yeah, persona like a persona and then just somebody who's going to be in these like major like Oscar films, I think is probably what I mean. Somebody who's going to be the next level of like DiCaprio and Brad Pitt and Bradley Cooper and like that sort of. And I haven't quite seen it. And I haven't seen very much in the actresses that are coming into that besides like Mikey Madison, I guess.
Yeah, I guess kind of like I was just saying. I think the acting world is like pretty open, where there are a lot of good actors. There's a lot of people that are coming up, but definitely, I mean, I think the generation of people that we're talking about, like people that are going to be dying, like they're just irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Even someone like Joe Pesci is in his 80s, like So yeah, it'll be sad.
Yeah, it'll be a tough time on the film industry because I feel like those actors are so good. We've seen films skew older for a while. Like Brad Pitt and DiCaprio and some of those people have such a big star power that we're seeing, actors in their 50s being like the leading men where it would have been, 30 years ago, different waves of people in their 30s coming through. Like, that bubble kind of grabbed onto them a little bit and I think shifted that these 2000s era of leading men and women.
Yeah, I think I was talking about how this summer we're kind of seeing that tested. We got Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise, which flopped. Then we got F1 with Brad Pitt, which is like everyone making a ton of money overseas. And then we're going to get one battle after another, which I think is just not going to succeed financially. So maybe Brad Pitt's the only one that. But I thought he was really bad in that movie, which is funny. But
I didn't see F1. I mean, he's not enough to get me into the theater, and F1 for sure is not a concept that I am like going to spend my like one night out a month on. I gotta really want to see something for that to happen. My next one this month, probably because it doesn't come out up here in Canada until the end of the month. I'm gonna go and see Highest to Lowest when it comes out in theaters. The new Spike Lee joint.
yeah, I'm seeing that on Wednesday, so I'm excited for that.
I'm really looking forward to it. There's nothing he's done that I haven't thought was awesome. And I think Black Klansman was one of the better films I think I've seen in my whole life, probably at least top 20.
Yeah, it's really good.
What is it that makes a movie good to you? Is it something specific that has to be involved, or is it like the combination of everything?
I think that's a good question. I think for me, I really tend to lean towards dialogue. I like good dialogue. When that's not there, it can be hard for me to like connect with something. I feel like I have to be invested in the characters. I think a lot of people maybe will lean more towards the visual side of things or just like the visual storytelling. I like to feel like I know the people and I like to be engaged with how they speak. I like when characters feel unique. I think one of the problems I think Marvel's been having is there's this sort of homogenous dialogue where you'll have like even in a movie like Thunderbolts, everyone kind of talks the same, they have the same cadence, they make the same jokes, and it's just like, well, who are you? Like, are you just like there's nothing that separates you from everyone else. So like that to me is not interesting from like a character perspective. So I think dialogue over everything else. And I feel like if a movie has a good script, I can like forgive a lot of other things about it. So, what about you?
I think it's probably a bit of a combination of things. I have to like the main character, which I feel like not a lot of like some movies don't try too hard. Like this is my hero through this story, good or bad, and I need to want to watch them. They need to be interesting. I need to care about what they're doing. I need to understand why they're doing it. I want to be locked into them and like convincing delivery, I think. Because even if it's a small performance, if the acting's quite bad, knocks me out of the film for a bit. And I mean, I'll just give like an example. Yesterday was I went and saw Freakier Friday 2, which I knew was not going to be a great film. I didn't have the highest of expectations.
Yeah.
I so I was prepared to like go in and be like, okay, like we're just gonna go. But I thought Vanessa Bayer was so bad, it like knocked me out. And then once she went away, I was able to get into the film again. But she like knocked me out of the film for like 10 minutes because I was like, who let her make those choices?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
You can
yeah,
tell
there's
when someone doesn't want to be there too, or like they're just there for a check and like just kind of reading lines. It's rough.
yeah, I need to feel yeah, I need everybody to buy into the concept. And like as cheesy as that movie was, Jamie Lee Curtis's like commitment to that movie made it really fun. Similar to Dustin Hoffman in Hook, where he is committed to this weird character in a way that you're like, this is fun. I'm with you here.
I love seeing serious actors like buy into something ridiculous and just like really go for it. Even like this is a really bad sort of like the Minecraft movie came out this year, and Jesus, Jason Momoa was in that, and like he could, I'm sure he got paid a ton. He could have just like gone through the motions, but he like it was a terrible movie, but he was like really trying and really like having fun, and like seeing that when he knows like the movie's for little kids and he just wants to like entertain them. Like I respect that. It's fun to see someone that's like this, big guy like really going for something like that and just saying screw it. So I do enjoy seeing actors try when they're getting that much money.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah, those are my two big ones. That's why I have a hard time with like a lot of the anti-hero stuff that was sweeping through in like the probably like the 20s, I guess, and the like the 2000s. But not as much in film, but in television. I was like, well, I don't like these people. I don't like Mad Men's a great example. I'm like, I know this is well done. I know it's well acted. The script's good. The direction's good. The costume, like, I know everything technically is great and I should love it, but I just find you all unlikable. And it was my problem with Oppenheimer too. I was like, I just feel like you're bad people. Like I'm not rooting for you guys very much. And I wanted to Oppenheimer. I won all awards, and I was like, I get that this is a good movie, but I am not with you guys on this because I need to like the person, and I just didn't. I need the main character. I need to like them, or at least start out liking them, like Michael in The Godfather. You really like him, and then he just, drags you into something. But then you have Kay to jump onto, so it's fine. For me, those are the big ones where I need to really like the hero.
Understood. Yeah, I think I don't mind like a character study of someone who's flawed as long as the movie knows that they're flawed, right? I think that's important.
Yeah. So I get this a lot on my comments on my stuff with separating like art and politics, and how are you finding like the balance of that kind of stuff when you're watching a film? Have you noticed like a big shift in art towards like kind of sanitizing all of that out?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't really know that it's possible to do. Like unless you have a robot writing, like AI writing the script, I think like even if it's subconscious, you're always going to be injecting whatever is happening around you and your experiences in the world and the environment into your writing, right? I think like it's impossible to not do that, unless you're just completely soulless and just dumb. But yeah, I don't really think it's possible to do that, even if it's not in a way that you're aware of that you're doing.
Yeah, I do love your separate page, your real takes. I've been following that as well, which I like because it's funny. I feel like we are so close in countries, but I feel like a lot of the time we receive different news. So it's nice to follow that perspective down there because the stuff that we receive from you guys a lot of the times isn't. Your press secretary sends us some misinformation.
Shocking.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been good, and I have a lot of respect for every creator out there who's like voicing their opinion that it's wrong and what's going on and talking about the things that need to be talked about, particularly in Gaza. And so I think it's great that you're doing all that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, there's days when I'm like reading like movie news and I'm just like, I don't I don't care. Like, there's so much stuff happening. And sometimes I feel silly talking about movies. And like, I know that I shouldn't feel that way. And that will always be my like center that I do love. I love doing it, but sometimes it's overwhelming, like looking around at everything else and being like, I don't know. I also think it's hard for me because I've kind of split up into talking about a lot of different things. It's hard to know what to talk about on a given day. Like sometimes I get really overwhelmed with that. I think a lot of people follow me for very different reasons and for different things. So it's
Mhm.
like, I feel like if I want to try to keep it balanced, but like sometimes there's just so much happening that I feel like I can't quite do that. So it's hard to juggle at times.
Yeah, I found that too. It was I think it was the episode that I did like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom was like right. I mean, I've had like a links and donation links hooked up on my Instagram and stuff to our Canadian Red Cross for donations to humanitarian aid for Gaza. I hadn't talked about it in a while. And it felt very weird to like re-mention that this is sources and it doesn't go through me or anything. It's literally just links to their site. But like talk about it and then be like, and now the minecart sequence.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's hard, but yeah, I mean, we're gonna like people are gonna learn about this stuff, in history, and I don't know that people quite comprehend the level of what's happening, and I feel like even what's being reported is not the reality of the
Mm-mm.
level of like death and just the level of atrocities that are being committed. I think like a lot more will come out as time passes, and it's just living through a moment like that in history. It's really bizarre to just watch the world just kind of sit there and watch.
It's hard. Like, I've had conversations about it with people in my personal life. They're like, "Oh, well, I just like there's so much negativity, like I can't handle it, like I'm stressed." And I'm like,
Yeah.
how can you sleep at night? Like I have a tiny platform, tiny, but like I don't know, like I talk about it and I've, donated what I could and then I've, written to our local members of parliament here trying to be like, which I've been ignored by, but like being like, "Hey, like what are we doing?" Cuz Canada's not doing anything really but talking and being like, "We're going to acknowledge them in September." You're like,
Great.
"It's not the date."
Yeah,
It's
that's
for
like I saw, yeah, and I saw like the UK was talking about the same thing. I'm like, y'all helped make the fucking problem. Like you
you're
guys were
still feeling the
there.
weapons.
Like this is very much your mess that you started like 100 years. Like
Yeah.
it's very frustrating. But
Yeah, yeah, it's hard and it's fun. It's interesting. Like I think within the film like talk community, I think there's so many of us where we have like just see like 2, 3 videos or something on movies, and then we all seem to kind of be weaving in and out of politics like a little bit. And I think that's it speaks so heavily to why film is so important because I just feel like it gives you an ability to a critically think through a story and B, understand that there are so many different types of people out there and they all have something going on and they all have these like giant backstories behind them. And it's film, I think, is just such like a empathy generator. And I think the more movies, and I mean, this isn't, I don't think you're going to necessarily get this by watching Michael Bay films, but I think if you watch good movies a lot about people that are really different than you can really start to empathize and see people as much more whole than just like, oh, those are people that live way over there that are really just a concept to me.
yeah, I think driving empathy is like one of the most important functions of movies. I think like that's what they do at their best, and like you said, kind of sharing some other experience with you. I think that's the beauty of it. I couldn't agree more with that.
Like, I don't know. And I feel like I think there's many things that have made me disillusioned with Hollywood, but I think this in particular, just like what's going on internationally and then like the horrific stuff that's happening like in your country with the way that undocumented people have been treated has just made me like other than celebrities like Angelina Jolie or whatever who have done like humanitarian aid for forever and have always talked about stuff like this. You're like, wow, you have all this, you're sitting on all this money and all this resource and
Well, they want to keep it.
you're not doing anything about it. It's been a weird year. Trying to figure out how to segue from that now.
Yeah, sorry.
Good. I brought it up. It is my fault. Other than the Paul Thomas Anderson project, what are some upcoming things you're looking forward to being released?
I feel like there's a lot of stuff. I feel like a lot of the big like prestige sort of Oscar stuff hasn't come yet. One of the things I'm excited for is Begonia, the Luca Guadagnino movie with Emma Stone. I think Jesse Plemons is in that too. I can't remember. I want to say that's in. I'm looking at the schedule now. I want to say that's in September. No, excuse me. It comes out on Halloween. It's Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, and it's like a weird comedy sci-fi movie.
Mm.
But I'm a big fan of. It's I said Luca. It's a Yorgos Lanthimos movie. I'm a big fan of Yorgos. He keeps working with Emma Stone. I love Emma Stone. You mentioned actors that we really love earlier. Emma Stone I think is like one of the best actors working today. I think she's really really good. Also, After the Hunt is coming out October 17th with Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield and Ayo Debris. That's the Luca Guadagnino movie. I'm excited for that. Black Phone 2. I really like the Black Phone. I don't know if you've did you see that?
No, no, I didn't.
It's a horror movie I really enjoyed. Also, The Smashing Machine, The Rock movie, Emily Blunt. It's Benny Safdie.
They have good chemistry. They had really good chemistry in the Jungle Cruise, which I
Yeah,
actually liked.
I think it's fine. I'm excited to see how that goes, and I guess maybe one more also the Him movie. September 19th. It's a Jordan Peele produced movie, directed by Justin Tipping, and it's like a football related horror movie
Okay.
that looks pretty cool. Lots of good stuff coming.
Yeah, we're about to swing into the time of year where things are getting.
Yeah, and the end of the year we get Avatar, which will be a lot of fun. I like those movies. I really like the second one.
I'm not a big Avatar fan, but I know that people are. It's Pocahontas without the songs, but
Yeah, we also get Zootopia 2. I like Zootopia.
I am excited. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be my daughter's first movie in the theater.
That's very exciting.
We're practicing right now. At home.
And the new Predator movie too. Badlands looks cool.
And I think there's a Timothy Chalamet one coming out at the end of
It's
the year.
Christmas. Where it was supposed to be. Did it get pushed back? Because I'm looking at the release schedule now. It's the ping pong movie.
Yeah. It was supposed to be
Marty
Christmas.
Supreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not showing up on my upcoming releases schedule, but it was supposed to be Christmas, I think. I don't know if it got pushed back. Nope, it still says Christmas on the internet.
And then there's Bradley Cooper's new film too, which I don't know if it's going to be any good, but I really like him as a director.
What is his new movie?
October 10th it's coming out. It's called Is This Thing On? Starring Will Arnett and Laura Dern.
I like Laura Dern.
Premise. After many years together, Alex and Tess have reached an amicable end to their marriage, thus beginning an awkward stage of figuring out how to live separately while raising two boys and maintaining friendships. Alex discovers a new hobby and in the process learns more about himself and his relationship.
Assuming the hobby will be music related.
Is Thing On? Yeah, probably that or stand-up or something like that.
Oh, it says it's inspired by the life of British comedian John Bishop.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that would be good. I thought Maestro was phenomenal, so I'm excited to see what he does next.
Not a fan of Maestro, but
No, I loved it. I loved
Yeah.
it. But Bradley Cooper is like I don't know. I think there's something about him where like, yes, he's this glamorous, handsome movie star, but like you can still see the like little film nerd who went and got his master's degree at the New School, just like, like he's like, I don't know, I think it shines through. He's like into it. Like he like I feel like if he made no money, he would be doing exactly the same job. Like I think there's this love of it, and like I don't know, and maybe that's just me reading too much into his behavior, but he still thinks the stuff around him is like cool. And he seems very surprised to be there a lot of the time, which I think kind of shines through sometimes. And I loved A Star Is Born. I thought that was so good. At least I thought so.
Yeah, I think that's a movie that I do like. Bradley Cooper's 50. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think because he went and went to the New School and he didn't really pop until like he was like in his 30s.
Yeah. He came up late.
Yeah, and then he, didn't even really switch into being a serious actor until I think Silver Linings Playbook might have been his first real drama
Type movie. Yeah, I'm trying to look. I mean, obviously it was The Hangover, and then The Hangover Part 2, Part 3. He was in the Place Beyond the Pines. That was actually the same year as Silver Linings Playbook, and the year before that he was in Limitless. I don't know if you remember that movie, which isn't like an Oscar movie, but it's like a more serious role, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't really care for Limitless. I did like A Place Beyond the Pines. I thought I haven't seen it since it came out. I worked at a video store at that time, and I remember watching it. I like got it like the week before it came out on the actual release and took it home because Bradley Cooper and Ryan Gosling, because that was when Ryan Gosling was in his serious actor era. I took that home.
I missed that.
It was good. I mean, he was great as Ken, but he has not done, I don't think, a ton recently that I've been terribly interested in. But it seems like he's more interested in his family, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. His old filmography is so good.
Yeah, he's one of our best exports to you guys. You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
We've given you guys him and Mike Myers. He's made less good films.
Yeah. Still iconic though.
I finish every episode with a guest with the Inside the Actor Studio questions that were done by James Lipton, who's my one of my very two interview heroes, him and Mark Maron. So James Lipton got this from his hero, Bernard Pivot. So what is your favorite word?
My favorite word. There's a lot of words I like. One word I really like is preposterous. That's a fun word. Yeah.
What's your least favorite word?
I think my least favorite word might be woke in the way it's used today, just because I think it means absolutely nothing. And I think there are places where there is a conversation to be had about stuff that's done in a way that's disingenuous, but then you can't talk about it because it all just gets talked about for the wrong reasons and called woke. And it's just like a very frustrating catch-all type word.
Yes. What turns you on creatively?
I guess there's a lot of ways to answer that. I think something I just like seeing that inspires me to do stuff is seeing other people that are passionate about stuff they're talking about. I think one of the nice things about being on the internet and being in this space is like there are a lot of people that know a lot about any topic and a lot more than me about a lot of different things. And I like hearing people talk about things that they care about. And I really don't like watching people talk about things that I can tell they don't care about. Yeah, I think just seeing other people that are inspired and doing what they want to do.
What turns you off?
I think for like what I just said, it's like people that are disingenuous, people that don't either don't know who they are or do know who they are and just betray that to try to chase something or just fit a trend or I don't know. Just people that are not in tune with themselves, I guess.
What's your favorite curse word?
Maybe dickhead. It's a very Philly term, but
Do you whip that one out a lot? Or?
it's very common in where I live. So
I just assume like I don't know if I've heard that in a long time. Very playground. I love it. What sound or noise do you love?
the big baseball fans, maybe like the crack of a bat. It's a good sound.
It's a good one. It's a great sound when you're holding nachos. What sound or noise do you hate?
Quentin Tarantino talking. Is that an okay answer?
Oh, that's fine. I would have put Joe Rogan, but same. I think they're friends.
Joe Rogan rambling. Yeah.
Yeah. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I would love to work in like a front office for a professional sports team, probably like a baseball team. I love analytics. Like my actual career, half of that has been spent doing analytics work, and I really enjoy that. But I enjoy it when it's applied to something interesting. So maybe something like that, that type of work around baseball.
What team do you cheer for?
Phillies, yeah, everything Philly.
With the most creative name of all the baseball teams.
Easy to remember though. So
What profession would you not like to attempt?
teaching math. I think that would be terrible.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Maybe your family's here. Like that would be good. Everyone's all together.
I've had that one quite a number of times now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I really love all your content. I'll make sure I link that down below in the show notes and things for everybody. But thank you so much. I've been following your content for like before I started my own stuff. So it's pretty exciting. Pretty exciting for me to have you on. I made like a joke to Brian. I was like, he's like my film talk celebrity.
Nah, no sweat. Yeah, I appreciate you having me. And I appreciate Brian for sending me your way. Brian's great too. I've known him for a long time now. And he's great. Yeah, he was just on our podcast last night too. So.
Yeah, he was awesome. We did Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade together. And it was so much fun. I like at one point we were like I gotta go to bed. Like we need to wrap this up. It's been so fun.
Yeah, that's when you know it's a good conversation.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Yeah, chat soon. Anytime you'd like to come back on, or you got a movie or something you want to chat about, like hit me up. I'd love to have you back.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.